The function of the brain is to take the belief that we have and make it real. If you believe in love, then the function of the brain is to manifest love. If you believe in fear, scared, anger, then the function of the brain is to make that real too. If you believe in fear, then the brain will give you something to fear. You're not looking for it, but the brain says, oh, there once you're afraid. Look at that person. That's a scary person. Oh, look at that. That's scary. Your brain will show you all the scary things because you live in fear. If you live in love, well, oh, look how beautiful that oh, look at the flowers. Oh, look at the sunlight. Isn't that beautiful? So your brain is going to take whatever you're thinking and turn it real. And this is why it's important to recognize most of the thinking is disempowering beliefs, beliefs that take away your power. Most of the thinking is limiting your power, okay? And much of the thinking is what we call self-sabotaging, meaning you will do behaviors that will cause you problems, your own problems, and you will self-sabotage yourself.
Bine ați venit la podcastul nostru, unde explorăm cele mai recente descoperiri din neuroștiință și sănătatea mentală. Suntem Alina Robu și Diana Nemes și astăzi avem onoarea de a-l găzdui pe Dr. Bruce Lipton, un pionier în epigenetică și un gânditor inovator în ceea ce privește legătura dintre conștiință și biologie. Pentru cei care poate nu sunt familiarizați cu munca sa, Dr. Bruce Lipton este autorul bestsellerului Biologia, credinței și este recunoscut la nivel internațional pentru cercetările sale care demonstrează că percepțiile noastre, și nu doar genele, controlează biologia. De asemenea, Dr. Lipton este un orator de renume și un educator care a contribuit semnificativ la înțelegerea modului în care conștiința influențează sănătatea și binele nostru general.
Dr. Lipton, your career began as a cell biologist at the University of Wisconsin, and later you worked at Stanford. How did you come to explore epigenetics, and what led you to conclude that our perceptions, more than genes, control our biology?
When I was at the University of Wisconsin, I was teaching medical students about genes and how genes control life. That's a belief called genetic determinism. Genes determine the character of your life. That was a belief I was teaching. But in my research, I was working with what are called stem cells in our body. Stem cells are embryonic cells. Every second, 3.5 million cells die in your body every second. 3.5 million cells die every second. We replace those cells with stem cells. Stem cells are embryonic cells. They can replace any of the cells that die. So I was what we call cloning stem cells. That means I was putting one stem cell in the petri dish by itself, and it divides every 10 hours. First one cell, then 2 cells, then 4, then 8. It doubles. At the end of the week, I have 30,000 cells in the petri dish. They're all genetically the same. They came from one parent. So I split the cells into 3 petri dishes, three dishes, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 cells in each dish. All dishes genetically identical. But I changed the culture medium. The environment that I grow the cells in is culture medium. Culture medium is the laboratory version of blood. So in an animal, the cells are in the blood culture medium, okay? In the culture dish, I make it in the lab, culture medium like blood. I make it. But I changed the chemistry in 3 different dishes. So they have different culture medium, 3 different culture medium. All the cells are genetically the same. But in culture medium A, the cells form muscle. In culture medium B, a different culture medium, the cells form bone. In culture medium C, a different culture medium, the cells form fat cells. All the cells were genetically the same. Why did some become muscle? Why did some become bone? Why did some become fat cells? The answer? The environment. The chemistry of the culture medium controls the genes. Not the genes controlling the cell. It was the environment controlling the genes. So I say, well, what does this have to do with people? I go, a human is a skin-covered petri dish. Under the skin, 50 trillion cells, okay? And the original culture medium, blood. That's the original culture medium. In the culture dish, the fate of the cell, what the cell will become, is based on the culture medium chemistry, the blood chemistry. It's the same in our body. The genes in your body are controlled by the chemistry of the blood. So I say, who or what makes the chemistry of the blood? I go, the brain is the chemist, and it makes the chemistry of the blood. The chemistry of the blood controls the genetics. I go, wait, what chemistry should the brain put into the blood? And the answer, whatever picture you have in your mind, the brain translates that picture into chemistry. There's different chemistry for different pictures. When you're in love, you have love chemistry come into your body, and that makes you healthy. When people fall in love, they get very healthy because the chemistry of the blood, the culture medium, gives health. But if you're afraid or you live in fear, you have different chemistry. That chemistry will get you ready for the saber-toothed tiger that's chasing you, okay? So there's chemistry for love, there's chemistry for anger, there's chemistry for hope. All different pictures, different chemistry. So I say, we used to say genes control the behavior of the cell. Now we go, no. The chemistry of the blood controls the genes. And the chemistry of the blood is connected to the thought, your belief. Whatever belief you have, you make chemistry that matches that belief. So there are different beliefs, love and fear. They have two different chemistry. And when the chemistry is different in the blood, that's what controls the genes. So the point is this: we are not victims of the genes. The genes do not turn on and off. That is a misunderstanding. Genes cannot turn on and off. Genes are blueprints, just like a house. A house has blueprints. The cells have genes, which are blueprints to make this house, okay? So the point is this: the genes don't activate themselves. The genes are controlled by the thought, because the thought sends the chemistry to the cells that controls the genes. So we are not victims of genes. We are masters of our genes. We control our genes with our thought. So, for example, there's not one gene causes cancer. There's no gene causes cancer. Cancer starts up in the mind and then becomes in the body. And 9 out of 10 cancers are connected to the environment and lifestyle. So we blame the genes for cancer. I say, no, it's the mind that creates cancer. Change your mind and you can change the cancer. So We are powerful. We're not victims. We control our behavior and our genes by what we are thinking. Are you thinking of love or are you thinking of fear? Makes a big difference for each one.
How did you overcome the challenges of presenting such a revolutionary theory at the time when genetic determinism was the norm?
I believe in myself. I believe in the experiment. The experiments I did, you could predict every time what was going to happen. Before you do the experiment, you can predict what's happening. I say, what's important in science? If you can predict something, then that means you must know something about how it works. So my prediction was when the chemistry changes, the genes change. And so the conventional people, oh, genes control. The new science says no, environment controls. I did this work 1967. That's like almost 60 years ago. And it was only in 1990 that science agreed with my belief. So for 23 years, I kept believing in the work. And then in 1990, science said, yes, that is how it works. Environment controls genes. And we control the environment. So that means we control the genes. The genes do not control us. We control the genes.
Brain mapping is one of the most exciting frontiers in neuroscience. How do you see the connection between your theories about perception and how these perceptions might shape our brain's functioning and connectivity?
The first thing is this: do our thoughts make a difference? I go, for almost 100 years, medical science knows something about called placebo. I say, what's placebo? I say, someone is sick and the doctor says, I have a new pill, brand new chemistry. This pill is going to heal you. And the person takes the pill and they get better. But they find out the pill was sugar pill. I go, what healed them? Sugar? No. The belief in the mind, the belief, positive thinking. This pill will heal me. They take the pill, they get better. And everyone says, yes, placebo effect, mind controlling body. Now, placebo is about positive thinking. But people don't talk about what about negative thinking? And I say, that has the same power as positive thinking, but it works in the opposite way. Positive thinking can heal you from any disease, placebo. Negative thinking has the name nocebo. Nocebo can cause any disease. Cancer is due to thinking, not harmony, but unhealthy thinking. That is where cancer comes from. It did not come from the gene. It came from lifestyle. And I say, this is important because it changes our understanding of the role of the brain. The brain is going to make the body match the thought, the belief. If you have a belief you're going to get sick, the brain will make you sick. If you have a belief you're going to get well, the brain will make you well. That was called placebo, makes you well, thinking, or making you sick from thinking is called nocebo. The point is the brain is the actual chemist that controls the genes. And in some research that I was involved with brain mapping, they showed that a process that we use to change belief, a process of how to change a belief, you can see in the brain mapping, the moment the brain changes like a light switch, boom, and the brain changes with a new belief. You can see it. The audience in some lecture, the neuroscientist, his name is Jeff Fanning, he would put somebody on the stage with wires to read the EEG, the brain activity, and put it on the screen. Everybody in the audience can see EEG. Now, they don't know what it means, EEG, but when the belief changed, instantly the pattern of EEG changed so fast that the audience goes, oh, they could see when the belief changed the brain mapping. It goes just like a switch on. And so brain mapping shows how a change in belief can change the biology of the body. So it's not new age. New age. No, I say no, science. Belief changes the biology because belief changes brain function, and you can see it live with the wires, EEG, brain mapping. You can see the brain change when people change their belief.
Neurofeedback uses real-time data about brain activity to train the brain. How do you think your principles of epigenetics and consciousness can be applied to improve the efficiency of these techniques?
The whole idea is this. Is the belief change, is a change in the brain function real or new age? I go, no, you can read it with science. So it's now becomes an understanding that the brain is the control of the whole biology, from the genes to the behavior, is all controlled by the brain, but the brain is reading consciousness, the conscious mind. The conscious mind is connected to our spirituality. The conscious mind is connected to who we are, different from everybody else. The conscious mind is the creator mind. The subconscious mind, 90% of the brain, that's not creative, that's habit or program. So when you learn something like walking, it's a program. You push a button, you can walk. You don't have to think about it. So the subconscious has programs, and the conscious mind can change or act on those programs, okay? So I said, but why is this so important? Because it shows how spirituality and thinking and creativity, the character of human beings, is so important because it directly connects to how the genes are going to be read. And all of a sudden it says, then the brain is the mirror between the outside and the inside. The brain reads the outside world and then tells the cells on the inside what is going on, so that the cells can create the behavior to survive in that world. So the brain is reading, but it's reading an energy field, because consciousness is a thought. Consciousness is not physical. There's no chemistry. I say, give me a pound of consciousness. I go, there's no weight. Consciousness is energy. I go, yes. The brain translates the energy into biology. The brain translates spirituality, which is an energy field. That's quantum physics. That each of us is an energy field. Each of us is like a radio receiving a broadcast from space, from spirit, okay? And the cells have antennas, like protein antennas, proteins called receptors. Now, we have receptors, eyes, ears, nose, taste, touch. We have receptors in our skin, reading the world. That's what eyes look at the world. Sound, listening to the world. The cells have receptors, but instead of complex, they're proteins. They're like antennas, like TV antenna, okay? And they read the environment. There's a set of receptors on your cells that no other human being has the same set of receptors. I go, what are receptors? Receivers. I said, well, where are these receptors? On the outside of the cell, just like the eyes are on the outside, the ears on the outside, mouth. The cell has receptors just like us. It can see, it can smell, it can hear. And I say, but there's one set of receptors reading an energy signal, an environment signal. There's one set of receptors. Biology calls them self-receptors. I go, what's important? I say, no two people in the whole world have the same self-receptors. Each one of us has a set of antennas that no other human has. I say, yeah, but what do they read? I say, a signal that is picked up by the receptors. Okay? Now, here's the point. Let me make it simple. The body is like a television set, and the antennas on the cells are like the antennas on the TV. And I say, then the show on the TV is not in the TV. The show comes to the TV with a broadcast, and the antennas pick up the broadcast and play it. So I say, my body is a TV. You're looking at the Bruce TV. I say, where's the broadcast coming? I say, the broadcast is coming from the energy up here. I say, what's this energy called? In physics, they call it the field. And I say, the definition of the field, you ready? Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. I go, what's the definition of spirit? Invisible moving forces that influence the physical world. Today's new science, quantum physics, the most valid, the most truthful of all the sciences on this planet, tell us that our biology, our life experiences are controlled by the energy field, which they also say spirit. The new science actually uses the word spirit because it's a broadcast from the energy that our antennas pick up. Your antennas pick up a different signal than my antennas. I go, why? Is that important? The answer? If I want to transfer a kidney into your body, my kidney cells have my antennas on them. Your kidney cells have different antennas on them. But your immune system knows the difference. If I put foreign cells into your body, your immune system will look at the antennas and say, self or not self. If the antennas are not self, the immune system will destroy those cells. That's why we can't put organs from one person into another. The only way you can do that is stop the immune system from killing the foreign cells with the different antennas. And here's a very interesting part. When people get hearts, a heart transplant, it's the most powerful energy structure in the body. The most energy is the energy of the heart. And I go, so what's important? This is real. When they get a heart from someone who died, and they put the new heart in, the person who gets the new heart also gets the behavior of the person who died, because the new heart still has the old antennas connected to the original person. So when a person gets a new heart from a transplant, they're also getting some new information downloaded from the spirit into that heart. But that spirit came from a different person. And the people who get a new heart, their life changes because now they become mixed with two different people controlling the cells, but one's dead. What's the point? We cannot die. We're not in here. We are the broadcast. I say, you're watching a TV. Remember, the show is not in the TV. The show is the broadcast. I say, you watch the TV. You say, the TV breaks. We say, TV is dead. I go, yep, not working. Is the broadcast still there? Yes. I say, why is that important? Because what if a baby in the future is born with the same antennas that you have now? You will be back in a new TV set, a different body. The body is the TV playing the show. You're watching the Bruce show on the Bruce TV. If the Bruce TV dies, the show is still there. So the new science shows how the brain is like the receiver, like a radio receiver or TV receiver. It picks up the broadcast, the brain reads the broadcast and plays the show on your body by adjusting your genetics and your behavior to match the broadcast. And so very important things come here. One, you cannot die. Why? You are not in here. You are up here. Okay. Number two, you can come back again. Yes, because if a baby comes with the same antennas that you have, then you're back, but a new TV set. I go, does it make a difference if the new TV is male or female? I say, nope, that's the TV. You are the broadcast. You are not the TV. I say, does it make a difference if the new TV is white, brown, black, red, yellow? I go, no, that's not you. That's the TV. So the point is very important here. What does your body show? Is it a healthy body, a happy body, an angry body? I go, how do I know? I say, because when the broadcast is coming in, the brain will read that, and you can see that in brain mapping. You can see the brain change when the thought is changing. And when the brain changes, the chemistry in the blood changes. And the chemistry in the blood goes to the cells and controls the genetics and the behavior. And so this new science is a science of empowerment. I go, what do you mean? I say, the old science, genes control your life, you're a victim. Why? You didn't pick the genes? You cannot change the genes. And then we say, genes turn on and off by themselves. I say, we were teaching people that their life was controlled by genes, genetic determinism. And I say, that makes us victims of our heredity, victims of what our family has. They say cancer is running in the family, and they say a gene. I go, no. Programming of babies runs in the family. It's programming that creates cancer. It's programming that creates health. I say, when was that? The first 7 years of a child's life. The brain is programmed just like a computer. The subconscious is like hard drive. The hard drive has programs, habits. The programs are called habits. I say the new programs are put in the first 7 years. And then the science now says, ready? 95% of your life is not coming from wishes and desires, the conscious mind. No. 95% of life is coming from program. Whatever program you got when you were below 7 controls 95% of your life. I say, this is new science. I go, yes. I say, is it new idea? I say, no. I say, what? For 400 years, the Jesuits have told their followers, give me a child until it is 7, and I will show you the man. So, what did they know? The first 7 years is programming. The rest of the life, 95%, comes from the program. So they say, if you let me program you, I will control 95% of your life. And that's when they created Catholic school. Why? Train the kids. By age 7, they have a program. The rest of their life, they play that program. And I say, today, the programming from science is greater than even the Jesuits could do. I say, you see an infant who can hardly walk carry an iPad and play with a computer, and it's just an infant. I say, that's a program. Most of the programs we get from the past are not right. There's a saying, a very famous saying, knowledge is power. It's true. Knowledge is power. But now listen, I'm going to say the same thing, but in a different way. You ready? A lack of knowledge is a lack of power. That means what you don't know, you have no power, okay? So when we believe something that is wrong, then we lose our power because that belief is wrong. And we used to believe genes control us. No, that belief was wrong. But if you still believe it, you lose your power because you say, oh, my life is controlled by genes. I go, no, life is controlled through the brain. It's the thinking that controls the chemistry. The chemistry controls the genes. Change your thinking and you change the biology. And this is, it doesn't make new genes, it just reads the genes in a different way. Epigenetics takes environmental signal and uses that signal to adjust the genes. You are the person who is reading the environment. You are the person that is reading the environment and having a belief, and then that belief is then made into chemistry by the brain, and that chemistry controls us. The point about it is so important is that we are not victims. It's our power of knowledge that controls who we are. And if we have knowledge that's wrong, then the control is wrong too. and so it's a wake-up time for people. Take back your power. You are not a victim of your genes. If you're not healthy, 90+% of disease, 90+% of disease, stress. It's based on the belief that life is struggle. And then that chemistry of stress causes disease. Genes don't, less than 1% of all the disease, less than 1% is genes. 99% has nothing to do with genes. 99% begins mainly with what are you thinking? What is your program? What is your belief? Because that is what is converted into biology by the brain. And brain mapping is a scientific way to see how the belief affects the function of the brain. And so brain mapping becomes a very important tool in understanding health, happiness, joy, anger. Why? It's the function of the brain that is going to create that experience in your life.
Is it important, the prenatal period? How much does a mother's emotional and physical state influence the development of the fetus's brain?
Yeah. Again, the brain is like a computer. It's not like a computer. The brain is like a computer. I go, so? I say, the same way the computer works like the laptop you're using is the same way the brain works. I go, so what does that mean? I say, a while we used to be able to buy a computer. It didn't come with programs. You just buy the computer. I say, so you bought a brand new computer, you plug it in, you push start, and the screen lights up, and you get the word is, the computer is booted. The computer is operating. I say, you got a brand new computer. The screen lights up. I say, do something with it. And you go, I can't. I say, why not? Before you can use the computer, you have to put program in the computer. Then you can use the computer. The human brain is the same thing. The brain consciousness lights up 3 months before you're born. The brain is booted, ready to go. I say, yeah, but you can't use it. Why? First, you put programs in. And the baby, the fetus before it's born, is already getting programs from the mother. I say, how can it get programmed? I say, remember, the chemistry of the blood controls the genetics, okay? But the mother is nourishing the fetus with her blood. So when the blood goes from the mother into the womb and goes to the fetus's blood is the same as the mother's blood. I go, yeah, but the mother's blood, the chemistry and the hormones and all that, the emotions and chemistry, they're carried in the blood. That's how her body is affected by her belief, the mother's body. Yeah, but I say, but the same chemicals and the same hormones and the same emotional chemicals are going from the mother's body into the fetus. I go, the same way the chemistry adjusts the mother's genetics, when that chemistry of the mother goes into the fetus, it adjusts the genetics of the fetus. So the mother, if she sees the world as happy and loving, the baby experiences the development of happy and loving. If the mother is afraid, or the mother is in fear, or the mother has no support, then that chemistry of that mother, which is more scary chemistry, goes into the fetus and programs the fetus. So a lot of programming of your genetics occurs even before you're born, because it's connected to the growth medium, the blood, but it's coming from the mother's system. So if she's happy, the fetus is happy. If she's upset and sad, the fetus is sad. So the fetus is learning the experiences of the mother. Why? Because when the fetus is born, it's going to be in the same world that the mother sees. So the mother, in terms, might be nature's head start program, meaning before the baby is born, it's getting information about the world through the mother's blood, which carries her belief about the world. So the programming started before you were born. The programming continues until age 7, because the mind of the child is in a state of record. It's a state of hypnosis. I go, why should the brain of a child be in hypnosis? The answer, how many rules do you have to learn to be a member of a family? How many rules do you have to learn to be a member of the community? There are things you can do, there are things you can't do. And I say, how does a child learn? The first 7 years, the brain is in hypnosis, record. It watches the mother. It watches the father. It downloads their behavior. Hypnosis, just watch, download. It watches how the community behaves and downloads the behavior. So the first 7 years of a child's life, the computer brain, the subconscious is hard drive. That's where the programs go. The programs become habits. And then 95% of your life is not coming from the creative part, the wishes and desires. That's conscious. Most of the life is coming from the program that you got from your family and your community. And so it's not your life. It's what you've been programmed to live. And this is where the Jesuits said, yes, give it a child until it's 7, and the program will be the rest of its life. That's what they knew. And I said, today, the programming is far better than Jesuits could ever see with today's computer programming. And I say, we're all programmed. Now, if I just want to add another part, because this people will connect. There's a movie called The Matrix. Many people have seen this movie. It's in the catalog. It says science fiction. I said, Matrix is a documentary. I go, yes, a documentary. I said, why? Because they said everybody's programmed. That was the storyline. Everybody's programmed. I go, that's real. Everybody is programmed. Every human is programmed through age 7. But I love their part because in the movie, if you take a red pill, you can get out of the program. Guess what? Almost every one of you has taken that red pill at one time and your life changed overnight. I said, what was that? I say, when you fell in love. I go, why? Well, your life was blah, 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 blah. And then you meet the person, you meet them. 24 hours later, you're in honeymoon. Honeymoon. Oh, love is so beautiful. Life is so wonderful. I love everything. I'm so in love. I go, your life was blah, 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 blah. And then 24 hours later, you are creating what? Heaven on earth. You are, let me emphasize, you are creating heaven on earth. It was always there, but when you had the program, that was not part of the creation. You were playing the program. But when you stop playing the program, the red pill, in this case, love, when you fall in love for a period, you stop playing the program. And then you're what? Creator, the conscious mind, not the program mind, conscious mind, wishes and desires. I go, well, when you are operating without the program, what did your mind create? Heaven on earth. And then at some point, the issue is you start thinking with the conscious mind and the program takes over. And that's when the marriage changes. That's when the relationship changes. Why? Because you didn't play the negative programs when you had the honeymoon. But when you start thinking, the programs start playing again. And if they're negative programs, the relationship will fall apart because you didn't connect because of negative programs. You connected because of the positive conscious placebo. I want to have love. I want to be happy. I want to be healthy. I go, yeah, fall in love. The chemistry of love gives you that, okay? But the issue is, if you're thinking, then the program is running. So I say, well, what happens when you fall in love? And I say, you stop thinking. I go, why? Because when you're thinking, you're not looking out. Thinking, you're looking inside. You're looking inside for a thought. You're not looking outside. I say, but what if you met this person you so fall in love with? I say, do you want to think and then go inside? I say, no, you stop thinking, you stay outside. And I go, so what? When you stop thinking, you stop playing the program. When you stop playing the program, you became the creator of your life. And I say, what did you create? Heaven on earth. I go, guess what? Heaven on earth is always here. It's your program that keeps you from touching it. When you change the program, you can have heaven on earth every day of your life for as long as you live. The honeymoon never ends when you can change the program to make the program your wishes and desires, not the program you got from your mother or your father, the program you want. Give you a simple example. My mother and father did not have a good relationship. We would say dysfunctional relationship. And as a baby and a boy growing up, I downloaded the behavior of my father because that's a program. You download behavior of your mother or your father because that's the first programmer. I didn't know I was downloading bad behavior because I was copying my father. He had bad behavior. I copied his. I could not get a relationship for almost 50 years because when my father's program would play 95% of the day, whatever honeymoon I was on would end. When my father's program showed up, my partner would leave. and I didn't see the program, and that's where the biggest problem comes from, is because when you're playing the program, why are you playing the program and not using the creative mind? And the answer is, when you are thinking, you're not looking out at the world, you're looking in. I go, so what? I said, what if you're driving the car? And you're going down the street and you're thinking, when I get to the store, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. And I say, you're thinking of what you're going to buy when you get to the store, but then you're not looking out the window when you're driving. You're not. You're inside thinking. I say, who's driving the car? I go, the hard drive, the subconscious has habits. You learned how to drive a car. And when you have a habit, you don't have to think about it. It will be automatic, like walking. When did you learn how to walk? Before you were 2 years old. Why is it important? You could be 102 years old. You're still walking. Why? The original program is still there. If I put a new program in how to drive a car, I don't have to pay attention. I just let the automatic drive the car. And I can think about going to the store and not think about the driving. I go, that's what the good habits. Oh, walking is a good habit. Talking, that's another habit. There are good habits. Play an instrument, drive a car. There are bad habits. Bad habits are, I'm not good enough. I don't love myself. I'm not worthy. And all of a sudden I say, where'd you get those ideas? And I say, when we were kids, we were programmed. We were criticized. That's not good enough. You don't deserve that toy. Who do you think you are? Those are recorded because the child under 7 is recording. And I say, what did we record? Most of us, almost all of us, have recorded some very bad self-criticism. We were programmed, if your parents used to say, you don't deserve that, and you were young, under 7, you weren't thinking, you just recorded. I do not deserve. I do not deserve. I go, then what? You ready? And this is where the brain comes back in. And this is most important thing right here. So what I'm going to say next, please listen to. The function of the brain is to take the belief that we have and make it real. If you believe in love, then the function of the brain is to manifest love. If you believe in fear, scared, anger, then the function of the brain is to make that real too. If you believe in fear, then the brain will give you something to fear. You're not looking for it, but the brain says, oh, there once you're afraid, look at that person. That's a scary person. Oh, look at that. That's scary. Your brain will show you all the scary things because you live in fear. If you live in love, well, oh, look how beautiful that. Oh, look at the flowers. Oh, look at the sunlight. Isn't that beautiful? So your brain is going to take whatever you're thinking and turn it real. And this is why it's important to recognize most of the thinking is disempowering beliefs, beliefs that take away your power. Most of the thinking is limiting your power, okay? And much of the thinking is what we call self-sabotaging, meaning you will do behaviors that will cause you problems, your own problems, and you will self-sabotage yourself. I say, is that because that's fate? That's just who we are? I say, no, that's what we were programmed in that first 7 years. So the most important understanding, as I just said, is the brain is to take the program and make it real. A program of love will bring love into your life. A program of fear will bring things you don't want, fear into your life. There's a famous book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, famous book. And it says what? If you grow up in a rich family, the beliefs you downloaded before age 7 were beliefs that make rich people rich. If you grow up in a poor family, the beliefs that you get before age 7 are why you are poor and why you will always stay poor. And so guess what? You grow up in a rich family, you will automatically have behavior that when your brain creates that behavior will make you rich. But if you grow up in a poor family, you will struggle your whole life because that's the program, struggle. And so why is this so important? We are creators. We are creating our life through the brain's interaction with the belief and the world in which we live. Change your belief and you change your biology and your behavior. And it becomes so very important because all of us are told we are victims of life. And I go, that is a program, and that will make you a victim of life. Now, the institute here in Romania is an institute to deal with reading the brain, mapping the brain. I go, why is that important? Because you can see if it's working in harmony or if it's working in disharmony. And then with that knowledge, you can adjust the behavior. Just like you can adjust a program on a television, you can change the color, you can change the contrast, you can make the picture go bigger or smaller, you can change everything with the dials. Epigenetics in the body is like the dials on the television set. The program is coming in, yeah, but I can change the picture, I can make it brighter, I can give it more color, I could change the character. So the broadcast is us. The brain will read that broadcast. Brain mapping can show you. And then take that broadcast and turn it into behavior. So the most important part about this is before brain mapping, you would say, I think something changed. I go, nowadays, no. I can show you something changed. And that's where the science becomes important. Because it says, this is not just an idea. No, this is real science. I think I talked a lot. Did I talk too much?
No. The brain is often resistant to change. How do you see the importance of patience and determination in success of these changes?
Okay, let me give you an example. I said the brain is a computer, that the subconscious is the hard drive. Okay, so I say, you have a computer in front of you right now. I say, talk to the computer and tell it to change the program. Talk to it. Tell me when the program's going to change. You keep talking to the computer. Okay, computer, change. Computer, change. The computer's not going to change. I say, why? Oh, you have to push the record button. Then the computer changes. I go, in changing the belief, it's very hard because people don't know how to push the record button. And they talk to the computer. Just like I said, talk to your computer right now. Tell me when the hard drive, the subconscious, tell me when that's going to change. I say, it will never change. Not until you push the record button. So I say, oh, well, if I want to change the belief, what do I have to do? I say, well, number one, you can try and change it by the same way the brain made the program. I say, how do you do that? I say, the first 7 years of a child's life, the brain is in hypnosis. It downloads whatever it sees and becomes programs, but it downloads other people's programs, not downloading yours, downloading theirs. If they have a bad program and gives them cancer, you have a bad program that's going to get cancer. The program is what caused the cancer, not the gene. Okay? So I say, oh, well, then if you do hypnosis, you can change the program. I say, yes. And then say, do I have to see a hypnotherapist? I go, nope. I go, why not? Every night when you go to bed, the moment you fall asleep and the conscious mind functions, you're sleeping, you're not there. Consciousness shut off. The next little bit of time before you go into deep sleep, the brain is in theta. Well, that's the hypnosis program. So I go, oh, wait, I could put earbuds or earphones on at night, just as I'm going to sleep, and play a program I want to be true. Better health, better relationship, better job, whatever you want to be true. Just as you're falling asleep, you have the earphones on. You fall asleep, conscious mind sleeping, you're not there. Subconscious mind is downloading. So whatever is coming in the earphones is going straight into subconscious. It's called self-hypnosis. Unfortunately, it's not a very long time period, so you have to repeat this a lot because the period of theta hypnosis is not very long. Okay? So number one, you want to change behavior? Self-hypnosis. Simple. In fact, go to sleep because when you're sleeping is when the program will change. Okay? Number two, I go, wait. I said hypnosis works till age 7. I said, yeah. After age 7, you still learn new things. You learn new program. I said, like what? You learn how to drive a car. You learn how to play a music instrument. You say, how'd you learn those things? Practice, repetition. The more you practice, the more it becomes a habit. If you don't like the way you're living now, practice a different way. I go, what does that mean? Well, in New Age, they have a saying. You ready? Fake it till you make it. What that means is this. Give you an example. You're not a happy person. Every day you wake up, not happy. I go, what if every day, during the day, you say to yourself, I am happy. I am happy. Even you're having a bad day, you say, I am happy. I am happy. I say, what are you doing? Making a habit. The more you repeat to yourself, I am happy, that's how a habit is made, repetition. There'll be a day where you'll wake up and you won't have to say, I'm happy. Why? Because the program is already there and you wake up happy. I say, so what? I say, you can change the program. How? Number one, change the program, self-hypnosis. Number two, repetition, create a new behavior, practice it. The more you practice it, the more you will become that. Renee Zellweger, the actress, she starred in a movie called The Diary of Bridget Jones. I go, so what? I say, a really good actor doesn't just learn the words. They learn the character and the behavior of the person they're playing. Bridget Jones is 40 pounds heavier than Renee Zellweger. But she became so good at playing Bridget Jones in her belief, she gained 40 pounds. And she played Bridget Jones. And then guess what? When the movie was finished, she stopped playing the character and she lost the 40 pounds. She became what she was practicing. I am this character. Another famous actor is Dustin Hoffman. He plays brilliant movies. He's a different character in each one. He was on Broadway in a play called Death of a Salesman, a very depressing play. And he played the character, the main character, who was very depressed in his life. He played it so good that he had to check into a mental hospital because he became depressed playing the character. And the point about it is, look, a really good actor takes on the character and becomes it. Why don't you become an actor? Why don't you act like somebody else? Why don't you act like what picture you want to be real? Who do I want to play? What character do I want to play? I say, create that character and practice it just like you were making a movie or a play. Guess what? You will become that character. So that's number two. Number one is self-hypnosis. Number two is practice a new behavior and repeat it, it becomes a habit. Number three is something new. What? Well, we're facing an evolutionary problem on the planet today. We're facing a world that is collapsing because it doesn't work. And there's an old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. Meaning, if we need something new, we'll create it. I go, well, guess what? We need to change our behaviors very quickly. Otherwise, we will destroy ourselves in the coming years. Very few. I say, well, we have to change our beliefs very quickly. I go, guess what? There's a new psychology that can change beliefs. Listen, 15 minutes. You can do a process in 15 minutes, walk away with a reprogram in the subconscious mind. I go, it's a miracle. I go, it is required. It's called energy psychology. There are a whole variety of different approaches or modalities of energy psychology. On my website, brucelipton.com, I got brucelipton.com. Under resources, there's belief change. And I have 30 different ways of energy psychology, different versions where you can change a belief in minutes and walk away with a new belief and a new life. I know this very personally because I've used it to change my life. I used it to be able to write my book. I used it to be able to find my partner in life, Margaret, who, and listen, I changed the programs that my father I downloaded. I changed them into my wishes and desires instead of his program. And guess what? 28 years as of this minute, 28 years, I'm living a honeymoon every day of my life. Why? The programs that were dysfunctional, the programs that destroyed the relationship, I rewrote those programs. And I used energy psychology. And guess what? As soon as I rewrote the programs of dysfunction, I was able to meet my partner, Margaret, because I was ready now with new programs of love and joy and living heaven on earth. And that is what our life has become. I even wrote a book called The Honeymoon Effect. A guy who couldn't get a relationship for 50 years, I write a book called The Honeymoon Effect. Why? Because the last 28 years has been a honeymoon every day. And I say, what does that mean? It means that I'm living heaven on earth every day. I said, what does this ultimately mean? You ready? This is going to knock your socks off. I said, what? People believe because of the program that when you die, if you did a very good life, if you had a really good life, you can go to heaven. I go, no, you missed it. This is heaven. This is where you were born to create. You're a creator. And when you're creating in love, and you're creating the honeymoon, you are creating heaven on earth. That was why we got here. Then I say, yeah, then how come people have so many problems? I go, because they were programmed by other people to lose their power and become victims rather than creators. So the new science, epigenetics, the new science, quantum physics, both of those show, no, we're not victims. We're creating. We're creating the good. We have to recognize we're also creating the bad. But when you know this, then it means you can change that program from the bad creations and turn them into loving creations. You are a powerful creator, but you didn't even know you were playing a program. People don't know they're playing a program. They think, oh, life isn't working because of all these other people are interfering with me. I'm a victim. I go, no, you're the creator, because you don't see the programs you are playing are making you a victim. Change the program and you become the master. What is the difference? I say, the master creates their life. The victim life is created by other people. They're victims. They bought other people's program. I go, that's an issue. And I just want people to know, you are so powerful, but you don't believe it. And look, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I know I exist as this energy, okay? But I want to give you a quote from a spiritual person, Jesus. And what did he say? He said to his followers, all the miracles that I can do, you can do them. You can even do the miracles better than I can do them. And all the people of Jesus go, yeah. I say, well, if he says you can do the miracles, why aren't you doing them? He told you could do the miracles. He said you can do the miracles better than he can do the miracles. I go, why is this important? And the answer is, each one of you can do this. It's only your belief programs that have taken away your power.
Mm-hmm. There is increasing evidence suggesting that there is a coherence between the heart and the brain that influences our health and overall well-being. What is your opinion on this connection and how can it be cultivated?
Yes, well, we've actually mentioned that. I'll tell you again what it was. You are a skin-covered petri dish. Under your skin, 50 trillion cells. It's the chemistry of the culture medium that determines the fate of the cell. That the chemistry of the culture medium is controlled by the brain. But the brain's function is connected to the program in the hard drive, the subconscious. If you send the wrong chemistry, then you're going to create disease, even cancer. You can die just because you believe you're going to die. You don't even have to have a disease. If you really believe you're going to die, you can die because that's a belief. So the issue is then what controls our life? I say not genes. It's the belief that controls our life. I say, then what? I said, well, if you don't like the life you have, it's because you have been programmed. And now let me bring a very important part, because I said, when did the program start? I said, before you were born, 3 months. And then for 7 years. So I ask you a question now. What is your program? I'll ask this question. What program did you get before you were born? And the answer is, you don't know. You weren't there. It was just the machine downloading. I said, wait. You were programmed the whole year from 0 to 1 year. A whole year of programming. Tell me the programming you got at 0. I don't know. I wasn't there. I go, right. You weren't there. Okay. You were programmed a whole year from 1 to 2. Tell me the program you got when you were 1 year old. You go, I don't know. And then lastly, I say, you were programmed a whole year from 2 until age 3. And you go, I remember some of the things around 3, but I don't remember earlier. I go, so here's the point. You've been programmed for 3 years, essentially, without you even knowing what the program was, because your conscious mind wasn't working yet. So I say, yeah, but the programs control your life. I go, then you say, what are my programs? And I go, 95% of your life is coming from the program. The point, your life is a printout of your programs. I go, so what does that mean? I go, the things you like that come into your life, they come in because you have a program to let those things in. But now listen to this one. The things that you desire and wish for, but you struggle to get it. You work hard. You put a lot of effort in. I'm going to make it happen. I'm sweating over it. I'm going to work real hard and make this happen. Question. Why are you working so hard for that thing? And the answer is this. You ready? Because whatever program you got does not support that desire that you're working for, whether it's relationship, job, losing weight. I want to lose weight. I go, that's a conscious mind. That's a creative decision. I want to lose weight. I go, well, guess what? The weight setting is in the subconscious mind. So the conscious mind says, I'm going to lose weight. And you work real hard. You try and diet. You do everything. It's so difficult to lose weight. I go, because the weight isn't determined by the conscious mind. It's determined by the program. You want to lose weight. It's not just dieting. You have to change the program. And this becomes important because if you don't change the program, you struggle. Why? Because the program that you have will override your wishes and your desires. And if you're struggling, it's not because nature and God won't give it to you. If you're struggling, it's your own program. And you say, what are those programs? I say, just look at your life. You can see what your programs are. And things you have trouble getting, it's not because you can't have them. It's because your program doesn't offer them. And this is why we want to change the program. So, the whole story keeps revolving around the fact that are you living your life or are you living the life of your program? And the answer is 95% of your life is the program. If your life's not working, don't change the world. Change the program. And the world will change when you change your program.
Our gut is often called the second brain. How do you think about this?
Yes. And the reason why is every organ has its own little brain. Every organ knows how to do its job. If you take out the digestive system from the mouth to the anus, you digest the whole thing out of the body and put food in the mouth part, the whole thing will process the food, digest it, and go all the way through the system, not connected to the body. Why? The digestive system has its own intelligence. The immune system has its own intelligence. The respiratory system has its own intelligence. You know what it's like? An orchestra, the musicians, you have the ones that play the horns. You have the ones that play the drums. You have those that play the violins. I say, why? I say, each one of them knows their part. They know how to play the part. I say, what about the conductor? Oh, the conductor coordinates them to play together. All the organs are like the musicians. They know how to do it. The heart knows how to beat without you telling it how to beat. It beats on its own. I go, so the organs all have their own little brain, but they depend on the cerebrum, the brain up here, to coordinate like the conductor to work in harmony with each other, okay? So again, every system, the heart will beat on its own, digestive system will work on its own. All the organs know how to do their job, but it's the central nervous system, which is the conductor to make sure they're all working in harmony with each other. And so the over control is the conductor. The organs down here, they know how to play the game. They just need the control from here.
And how important is the vagus nerve in maintaining homeostasis in the body?
It's very important. The vagus nerve was always thought as a motor nerve, where there's two kinds of nerves. Sensory nerve picks up information and then tells the system what's going on. Motor nerve activates the mechanism. So sensory is input, motor is output, okay? It turns out the vagus nerve actually is both input and output. It reads the world of what's going on, tells the brain what's going on, and then the brain sends a message back through the same vagus to the system to control it. So the vagus is not just doing one function, it does both. It reads what's going on, tells the brain, and then the brain makes a decision back to through the vagus nerve again, which then controls the organs. So it's a two-way street. Input, output, vagus nerve. One thing, very important, it coordinates the body's organ functions with what's going on in the world.
These days, there are many children who can't speak till the age of 4 or 5 years. Why do you think is this possible?
Yeah, and you say why? And the answer is, it's a form of autism, okay? And I say, what is autism? A child that is very sensitive, it gets overwhelmed by the world. It's too much. So where do they go? Inside. I'm not here. I am, but no, I'm not here. They don't want to deal with the outside world because the outside world is threatening to very sensitive people because of the amount of violence and anger they can feel it. You can feel it when somebody is angry. I say, autistic children, they feel it more than anybody. They're more sensitive. It's unfortunate because, especially I think in Romania, when you have mainly the foster homes where parents would take the kid and say, we can't afford to keep the child, and we send them to the orphanage. I go, so the orphanage does what? Gives them a place to sleep, gives them food, gives them clothing. Does it give them love? No. A child without love is afraid to be open because it has fear. A child without love closes down to protect themselves. Autism is a protection mechanism. I'm not connecting with the outside world because it's scary. And this is why such a large number of children that have come through those orphanages have had problems adjusting to the world, because in their earliest stages, when they needed the parent to give them security, you're my child, I will take care of you, I will love you, I will take care of your life, don't worry, I am here to protect you. If a child doesn't have that, then a child lives in fear. And if a child's in fear, they will shut out the outside, because when it's threatening on the outside, you go inside and close off. Autism is going inside because the outside world is too scary for them.
Dr. Lipton, thank you so much for the incredibly interesting discussion and all the valuable perspectives you've brought. It was a privilege to have you with us here, and I'm sure our listeners will learn a lot from your experience and knowledge.
I am so happy you invited me, because the world is facing an evolution right now. This is why every country in the world has chaos. Every country has its own problems, whether it's economic problem, political problem, religious problem, racial problem, everywhere. I go, because we are creating our own self-destruction. I go, why? You ready? To keep the world running today, just like, let's say we just want to keep it running the way it is right now. It takes, listen, 1.6 planet Earth to provide the resources for today's civilization. I said, wait, we only have one planet Earth. We're getting the extra 0.6. We're destroying the environment to get that extra 0.6. The point about it is this. It's simple. We cannot continue doing this. We can't keep destroying the earth, because we came from the earth. We are the earth. We evolved from the garden. And the point is, we are destroying the garden. We came from the garden. If you destroy the garden, then we cannot be here. And that's what we're facing right now. Science has recognized a very important point, and that is this. Within the next 20 years, and probably within 10, science has revealed a very important fact. Civilization as we know it is facing what is called an irreversible collapse. Civilization is falling apart. It cannot work anymore because we're destroying the earth, which gives us life. So it says we have to change the way we're living. I say, well, what do? I say, the culture that we live in is the cause of the problem. Yes, eat more, get more, buy more, get me more stuff. I always laugh because everybody wants to get more stuff. And I say, sometimes they don't have the room for all that stuff. They have to rent a space to store all their extra stuff. I go, where's stuff come from? The planet. How much stuff can you have? I go, we're destroying the planet. So I say, can we fix the civilization? No, from the beginning, it's wrong. So I said, then how can we survive? As the science says, the civilization is collapsing. Does that mean we're going to die? I said, no. Why? Civilizations have been here and collapsed, and been here and collapsed. There was a Roman civilization, gone. A Greek civilization, gone. The Great Britain civilization, gone. The United States, go downhill. Why? Because the culture is destroying the people and the planet. That the age of a human, you know what the age we should be? The age of a human should be a minimum 150 years. Then how come living to 100 is so hard when you're supposed to live to 150? You ready? We eat too much food. Yes. I say, why? Food is fuel. When you burn fuel to get the energy, whether it's the gasoline in your car, you get waste product. So you don't breathe the exhaust pipe from the car. It's toxic. It's waste, okay? When you burn food, and that's why the body temperature is warm. We're actually burning the food, not with fire, but with chemistry, and makes heat. I go, so what? When you burn food, there's a waste product that is toxic. I say, what is it called? It's called free radicals. What is that? I say, these are atoms that have a high electrical charge. And I say, what do? They shoot the holes in the cell. They kill the cells. The more you eat, the more you kill the cells. The more you eat, the shorter your lifespan. We're eating too much. Now they make supersize me meal. Give me extra. I go, it's already killing you. Don't do extra. But guess what? If we reduce the amount of food that people eat because we don't need it and it's killing us, we save the planet. I say, they cut down the rainforest in Brazil. Why? They want to make more hamburgers. I go, yeah, but the rainforest was filtering the air, cleaning the air. So it's like you remove the forest, the air doesn't get cleaned for everybody. And all of a sudden it says, we need to change the way we are living, which means the civilization we are in is causing our own destruction. I say, so what does that mean? We have to create a new civilization. And we are. And I say, well, how do you do it? There's a futurist, a man who told the future, and his name was Buckminster Fuller. And he said, don't go in and change the old system. He said, go outside, create a new system, and the people will come there. Well, your work at the Institute is part of creating the new system. Your work at the Institute is part of evolution. Why? Because it's giving knowledge to people about how the brain works, the mapping, and understanding how consciousness is affecting our biology, which is evolution. So for me, I want to thank you very much for your work, because when you help people change their understanding, those people then can change their life. And if they change their life, they can change the way we live in this world. And that we need the knowledge that the Institute is offering, because that knowledge is the information that will help us survive more than survive. That knowledge will help us thrive into the future, where everybody could live on this planet. The planet's not overpopulated. It's just that the people are eating more than they should. And if everybody stopped eating that amount of food, there's enough food for everybody in the world. Because we're overeating. And it's time for us to recognize there's a penalty, a charge. If you overeat, you're going to pay for it, because the digestion is going to start killing your cells, and they're going to kill your stem cells that keep you alive. Remember, every second, 3.5 million cells die. Oh, 3.5 million just died. Oh, 3.5 million just died. Oh, 3.5 million just died. I say, you need the stem cells, because the stem cells replace them. Do you have stem cells? If you're alive, of course you have stem cells. Otherwise, you wouldn't be alive. Now, the issue about the stem cells is they will conform to whatever the mind is thinking. If the mind is thinking cancer, then the stem cells can form cancer. If the mind is thinking health, then the stem cells will form health. Then the question is, what's the mind thinking? I say, well, take a look at the brain mapping. You can see what the mind's thinking. And this is why your work is so important for the evolution of this planet. Because the issue is, to survive, we must change the thinking. And any information science that can help the public understand this is part of the future of this civilization. So my thank you, because I appreciate the work you are all doing. Because when knowledge is power, And when you offer this knowledge, you give power back to the people. I trust the people. I don't trust the government, but I do trust the people. And so thank you very much for this invitation, and I hope I offered some information that your community can use to take their power back.
Vă mulțumim și vouă, celor care ne-ați ascultat. Nu uitați să împărtășiți acest episod dacă v-a inspirat și să ne urmăriți pe TikTok și Instagram pentru mai multe fragmente din această discuție fascinantă.
Schimbarea este un proces de durată, dar așa cum ne-a arătat Dr. Lipton, cu răbdare, determinare și o înțelegere mai profundă a legăturii dintre minte și corp, putem influența pozitiv viitorul nostru biologic și mental.